I've actually been in underground tunnels before, as well as like underneath the house where they built some catacombs and stuff like that. So sometimes it's not as far-fetched as people think. Yeah. That definitely would have been seen by a few people there, right? My question is, does this stuff really exist? Hey everybody, Chris the Cop here. Hey, I'm back with Gameology on another episode of Experts React. And what am I reacting to? Well, it's a little Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Say that fast 3 times. God, I love how in-depth these games get these days. It's just like so much like realism. It's like almost like watching a James Bond movie. Like the beginning of it. It's like... And once again, we have that definitely that spy James Bond type of scenario.
Ciao, welcome to Casino Lutazzi.
Okay, let me just check my gun.
Grazie, enjoy.
This place is something else.
That's the whole spy thing, and then she hands him the the dossier with the cards in there, and going to help him cheat. Now, I've gambled, and I don't see how. I mean, you got to be pretty awesome to be able to pull 2 cards out of your out of your jacket. But I guess we'll see how that goes. But and no, I love the setup on this because it's just I always wonder, like in the spy world, because the spy world does exist. I mean, we all have to realize that every country has, not every country, but countries have their spies, and how realistic is it for them? Like, me doing, like, when I look at cop stuff, I'll look at the realism of it, like what's real, what's fake, and what's Hollywood, type of stuff. I wonder if they do the same thing, like, I wish I could have something like that. Or is it like, does this world kind of exist for them? It's like they do these type of missions and they go to these type of extravagant places. Is this where the bad guys share the information or give you the thumb drive? It's interesting. So any spies out there want to DM me? Let me know if it's real. Now, I know these rooms exist. These private poker, areas do exist, for the high rollers.
There is no shame in losing, Mr.
Marshall.
Mr. Marshall.
Welcome, Signore. The game is Hold'em Poker, with the winner receiving the high roller bar.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna take a look at what's going on behind the scenes. The distractions up top, and now we got the team rolling in. And once again, I mean, how much intel can you get off of like these any place? I mean, do they know where the tunnels are at? Do they do they have maps like this? I mean, this is really like John Wickish. Like getting the maps to the the secret underground cathedral and that type of stuff. I mean, does this stuff really exist? I mean, there has to be a little bit of truth to some of this, I would say. I will be honest, some of the intelligence we get, some of the stuff that I have been a part of, being a SWAT commander, is that we do have our intelligence where we try to get maps of a location that we're going to hit and stuff like that. I've actually been in underground tunnels before. As well as like underneath the house where they built some catacombs and stuff like that. So sometimes it's not as far-fetched as people think. Now, being in a gunfight like this, no, I mean that's a little bit more far-fetched for law enforcement, but for the military side of this, I would venture to say that when they're taking care of something like this, that would be something that would be realistic to them. They got the snipers in, with the silencers to be able to, initially make that quiet entry like we saw in the beginning. Now it's gotten loud, and so now they're just going to take care of what they needed to be taken care of. But yeah, there's definitely that difference between what a military special ops team would be doing as opposed to a law enforcement team. And it's kind of like stuff like this, like I mean, we have the ability to be able to cut wires and do bypasses and stuff like that, but not to this degree. Not. I mean, our degree is using some bolt cutters and cutting some wires, as opposed to them utilizing some special tech for that type of stuff. But as I'm seeing in law enforcement, I mean, we're using drones like no tomorrow now. It's just like you could fly a drone through this for your intelligence. I mean, that's how it's getting these days. So technology is definitely there, which is, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because I think sometimes too much technology can, not be the best thing for us.
That takes care of the cameras. Time to head inside and give yourself up, Case.
Yeah, this is some, like I said, some killer gameplay. Like what they once again, like, is it realistic?
Looks like a little sewer rat. Let's talk. In private.
That'll do it. Case is in. Marshal, your time to shine. Win that table and you'll have access to the High Roller Lounge.
For one or two at these high roller tables, like we're talking about these, billionaires, what kind of conversations do they truly have, and, it's interesting.
Oh, you must be...
I'm so sorry, sir. Please, let me help.
What are you doing?
I'm terribly
Stop.
sorry.
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That definitely would have been seen by a few people there, right?
Go away.
Love that. That would be a little fakeism as opposed to, a little realist. I think realistically probably would have been done a lot smoother.
It's full of jacks. Signor Marshall wins.
How did this happen?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Good game.
Oh, adding a little insult to injury by throwing him a chip.
Isn't the machines? I'll need to reset the cell.
Do it.
Hey, man. This lady needs a bucket to carry those winnings.
Senor, I'm sorry.
Or maybe some of those canvas bags with some big dollar signs on them.
Please understand.
Now, here's the interesting part. As anyone who has ever been to a casino knows, they got cameras everywhere. So, is this a casino without cameras? That type of stuff. The camera system in casinos is like so state of the art. So they do not mess around. Plus, too, with the facial recognition and that type of stuff. Kind of neat though. Would they pick up on all this stuff? Because we're seeing all these little actions of cards underneath the table and handing someone's lifting an access card and that type of stuff. Would those cameras pick up on stuff like that? So yeah, it's still fun though. It's fun for gameplay.
In there you might be able to use.
Area in sicurezza.
Confermo.
A little bloody. And once again, that's the difference between military ops and law enforcement is that we have a certain and I know people are going to scream after I say this, but we have a certain use of rules of engagement which are far different than the military. Far different.
On entry. Cards in hand, heading downstairs. Hey! Here. I'm taking my break.
Is that card you know?
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that there is some type of surveillance system, hence the reason why they're doing all this, like sly, cool stuff of trying to get this access card to the right person there type of thing.
Cos'è stato?
Visto qualcosa?
That's what I always loved about these. Like, the other bodyguards would not see the person just getting their ass handed to them. That's the funny part. They're like, they're only 20 feet away. They would have heard the ruckus.
In the armory. Quite the collection.
Yeah, that's actually one thing about these games that, the developers give us a lot of weapons to choose from. But in reality, a lot of these weapons I don't want to say don't exist for us, but they're not things that we would be able to use. There are a lot of weapons that are like Russian weapons and, that type of stuff that Chinese that we just would not have access to as United States military, unless they're doing an operation in there and they stole some weapons or something like that. But then again, I don't know. I mean, maybe they get a chance to use these type of things.
Time for the grand finale. Chef? Right on time. Light them up.
The one thing is that the weapons all have most of the weapons ever have silencers. There are people who realize this, but what some people don't realize is like when you're in these gunfights, if there's not a suppressor on the weapon, it's loud. But I love some of the games when they have, even like the movies, they do that type of stuff where it's like they're shooting right next to each other, but no one's like, oh my god, that's loud. I've only seen one movie that's done that, and that was Black Hawk Down, where the one guy's like, he's like deaf from the gun battle that he's been in.
You okay? Nelson, you alright? What?
I like the fact that they actually have that in some games as opposed to, you know, other games where it's just a free-for-all type of stuff. But, you know, it's still, like I said, you got to have fun gameplay or people aren't just going to play these games.
Well, I think you've wasted enough of our time. Francesco.
So is this the distraction?
Go help them up there. I'll take care of this myself. You know something about this? And here I thought we were gonna let you off easy. Oh no, the canal is too good for you. This is gonna get real uncomfortable now.
Unlock it quick!
Payback the bitch.
Now it's the race out. There's some good games out there, like I think Ready or Not is one of them, SWAT 4, where when you are going across your teammate, you'll go into the low ready. The gun will drop into the low ready because you're not sweeping your partner. That's when I love when they do realistic stuff like that. But sometimes too, when you're playing multiplayer, you know, that just doesn't happen, that type of stuff. But I don't see that realism in this game. But I also too, I can appreciate the games where when you put your weapons on fully auto, you'll actually have the rise where the weapon's rising up, so your shots are less, so you just can't go full auto and start killing everything. I appreciate those games that make you actually choose your burst, so that way, you know, you're having a little bit more realism, because when you are, you know, and we do this on the range, you'll put your weapon on full auto, and you'll try to tuck in, and you'll try to get a nice grouping, but it rises because that's what the weapon's doing, and you're kind of like trying to fight that as you get into that. Some games definitely capture that, which is neat because it gives the players that opportunity to see what it's kind of like to shoot an automatic weapon as it rises up. My question is, does this stuff really exist? Or does this stuff really happen? I got to say some of it does, because there's some cool spy stuff that we eventually find out about. Some of the stuff that we see in this gameplay does truly happen, and but then again, like I'm not very critical when it comes to video games as far as the realism, because we're playing a game for entertainment, and we got to be entertained. So I'm not buying a video game for the realism of it. I'm buying the video game for the entertainment value of it. And Call of Duty has always given us entertainment, and that's what I enjoy about, you know, these games, especially like the scene we just watched. In this scene, we got a little bit of, you know, espionage. I got to unlock my handcuffs. You know, then we have the shooting part of it. You know, so there's all these cool little elements that make you challenge yourself and your gameplay. So when you put all that together, it's really entertaining. And once again, Call of Duty, they do a good job on giving us a really good video game and product. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And I am Chris the Cop. If you want to watch more of this, you can watch me on my own channel called Chris the Cop. We'll keep it pretty simple. But don't forget to keep joining us at Gameology as we do further episodes of Experts React. Once again, everyone, thanks again. Peace.